Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. Hi, Fran. Welcome back to town.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I had a nice, wholesome weekend. Well,
That's
you were
good.
just gone for like a day and a half or two, but
I was gone for around 24 hours.
well, what? Yeah, you left at 8 a.m. on Sunday and you didn't get back till yesterday afternoon, Monday afternoon. Yeah. Things are good. I have a busy week though. Well, I can tell you a little bit. I had a presentation last night. I should say I gave a lecture to a room full of college students. So that was interesting. I haven't done something like that ever in my life, but you would think like I like to talk and I
Oh,
talk.
I thought you were outside like to lecture.
No, do I?
No, I was just saying.
No, I've never done that before. And I think people are like, oh, you're good at talking. Like the girls on my team, they're like, you're good at talking. You're good. But you want to, I feel like pressure when I have to teach something like that. I want someone to learn something because I don't really feel qualified to be doing that. So, I mean, I built a whole presentation. Danny helped me like with all the photography and stuff. We built a whole presentation, 15 slides using a clicker. And like from the jump, it's just all these kids staring at me. And there ended up being like 70 people in that room and 2 professors. What the fuck are professors doing there? Why are professors there to listen to me talk? That's pressure because that's what they're professionals. That's what they do for a living. They present to classes, So I think it went well. I mean, they wanted me to talk about how I started Fitish, and then it reminded me because a few of you saw my post last night and you wrote me, you were like, I can't wait for your and Fran's like business building podcast. Well, y'all, I have a full presentation. Are you ready?
Yes.
I can do this on YouTube. I can throw up the presentation over my shoulder. Yeah. Oh. No, really. Yeah, I will.
Like that for sure.
I will. We might have to do it.
We have a lot of things passed through.
What else?
The cooking or the alive. I don't know if it's gonna be a cooking, but we need to do a
No,
live.
we are. We're gonna do a Cinco de Mayo live like we did last year.
Yes, nice.
Oh, that's on the books. That's on the calendar. It's on our Fitish calendar. Yeah, we have a lot of. It's full. So, if anyone has any tips, by the way, Fran and I really struggle clearly with a lot of things, but like especially with a calendar because I use Google Calendar and everything syncs to my Apple Calendar, but I'm not very disorganized, but I'm struggling with like the separation of the calendar because I don't want my staff to see everything. This sounds so amateur hour, but like, I don't want my staff to see everything. And usually I just put my whole thing, no matter what it is, Remy doctor's appointment and stuff like that. So my employees, I mean, I'm not hiding anything, so they know when I'm unavailable, but Fran and I are really struggling because he like you hate Google Calendar, which would be the easiest because that's what I have for my business, both businesses.
Hate is a strong word. I think I just.
Well, you haven't joined the one I sent you. So I'm having a hard time figuring out how to sync you on your Apple with mine. So if anyone has any like great tips or wants to help organize our calendar, that would be great. Because we're at a place where
I'm going to start using Calendly, where you go and pop, like we have these and
availability,
yes.
like people send me.
Like when you have, like when you send to someone that wants to schedule a meeting with you.
I kind of hate that, by the way. Like I had someone recently reach out and say like, I've really wanted to meet with you, da-da-da-da-da. And then I was like, sounds great. I kind of looked into what they did. It was through like a mutual connection. They were like, here's my schedule. And I'm kind of like, wait, what? Shouldn't it be the other way around? You reach out to me wanting to meet with me. Now I'm booking on your schedule. It was just it's kind of strange. I don't love that.
And I think the way that it was phrased, it was wrong, but it works. Like it works for like normally what I do is I send 3 available dates and people like, but if you can see each other's schedule or like, your schedule, you just see the other person's schedule. That's amazing. What's open?
Okay, I need someone I've wanted to be that person that like also blocks out their entire day. Like, you have this period of time for, your errands, or this is when you're like going to go no phone and and like be really blocked off. Oh, it'd be so nice looking at it all full.
But you just have to forget your phone at home.
I just have to get someone, if any of you are like calendar whizzes. That's where that executive assistant role comes in, but I just don't really need it because like I just need a little bit of help, but I don't really need an executive assistant. Someone just needs to teach me how to do some of that. I realize how manual I live my life. That's like another thing when you go, if you want to feel your age, go into a college campus now, right? Because it's the second time I've been on a college campus in the last few weeks because we did a photo shoot at UNT. And then I did this talk at SMU. A nice campus, obviously, both of them. But walking in like to a lecture hall, things have changed so much since I was in college. And it's been a minute since I was in college. And at one point, the beginning of my speech, my second slide was I intended to talk about choices. I guess I realized before I gave it that I want to talk to them like, how did I feel when I was a sophomore, junior, senior in college? Because that's what these girls are. A couple of guys too. But I was like, how did I feel emotionally? I was like, well, I had no idea what the fuck I wanted to do with my life other than I was a journalism major and wanted to do something along those lines. And so I wanted to talk to them about like how it's okay to have no idea what you want to do and to just like start figuring out what you don't want to do. That was really kind of the overall premise of, and then I got into the business, kind of specifics. But in the beginning, I had this photo of me interviewing Rihanna and then a photo of me holding Remy crying and like the working mom's picture. And I intended on being like, you're going to have a lot of choices in your life. Like, which one would you choose here? That's like where I wanted to go with that, because then they were going to choose like my other career, not the current one. But I kind of lost my place. Like I forgot that was where I wanted to go since I didn't really rehearse this very well. And it got me going. I want y'all, I've lived a couple of lives before I started this business. Like, guess how old I am, because I wanted them to be, I figured they'd be surprised that I'm 40. But I didn't know if they'd guess, how young they were going to guess, and I was like, I won't be offended. It was just dead silent. Like, guess my age, I will not be offended. I promise, which I wouldn't. And someone's like 25. I see Danny on my team. She like starts laughing. And then someone's like, I was like, way older. She's like 28. I'm like, way older. Some guys like, 29. I mean, it took them a couple minutes. Finally, someone guessed 35 and I'm like, older. And someone's like, 42. I'm like, I'm not that old. No, it was funny, but they were all laughing. And I was like, the point is, like, I just started this business 5 years ago. Like, you have a whole life ahead of you to kind of figure out what you want to do. I think they liked it. Yeah,
it sounded like it was a good time.
But it's just funny being in college because it was such a long. Danny's like, I miss college. She's 10 years younger than me, And I was like, man, I don't. Like, it was fun.
Well,
but
she still lives like she's in college.
She's a baby now.
Well, yeah, but she partied.
But she was a partier. Yeah, but yeah, it's so funny. I was like, man, the kids to me look so young, So yeah, nothing like making you feel your age than going. So next week I'm going to be speaking at a nursing home.
Good. You go through both spectrums.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's are you going to start talking about, like planning your will or something?
I don't know. No, I don't have anything to contribute to people older than me. I don't think.
Reverse mortgage, something like that.
No. But you got to do something so cool. Tell everyone what you got to do last minute.
So talking about calendars, I committed myself to go to this race. So I have a really good relationship with the people that are involved with the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. And we're doing an amazing project down there. I'll guys keep you posted. But I committed like maybe 2 months or 3 months ago to go to the MotoGP as I normally always do. But I completely forgot that it was last weekend. So my friend texted me, is like, you're coming, right? And I was like, to what? Moto. I was like, oh, fuck.
So as usual, the day before, Fran's like, hey, so I need to go to Austin for MotoGP.
I invited you. I told you on the Thursday.
First of all, Fran, I know that you invited me, but it's kind of unfair when I had a presentation that I had to prepare. And a lot of people can't see what you're doing. You want to describe what you're doing?
My first sip of coffee in the morning.
No, I even said to you, let me see if I can swing it because, I don't like the day before, and it kind of is the day before because then you wanted to leave on Saturday. So that's fair. You told me 2 days before. But I think what I try to tell Fran, and I don't know, maybe I'm totally in the wrong. Like he misses spontaneity in every way in our relationship. And I tell him like spontaneity's gotten like increasingly difficult, whether it's sex or travel or anything, because like we have a baby and we have a nanny who's counting on coming to work and I have shit for work, and I think that's where the calendar would come in. And I know it's kind of boring. I feel like Fran you kind of glaze over when we have conversations or like a long time ago when I said I wanted to do a weekly family meeting. You're like, okay, and I get it because it's like not sexy.
Do you want me to plan it?
But you can't plan something for me and be like, surprise me when it's 2 days out.
Do you want me to plan the weekly meeting? Like you want?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, sure. But I'm just saying, like, I think I'm trying to explain to you. It's not that I'm trying to be a fun ruiner. It's that I would love to have gone. I would love to have gone to MotoGP. But like I had a presentation on Monday that I had to work on over the weekend, and you weren't coming back until Monday morning, and I had to be at SMU at 4:00. Like, do you know how stressful that'd be if we got in a wreck driving home?
Absolutely understand.
And that's amazing. You got to go do that. So I just decided to stay back and take care of Remy, and which is fine, but it's just a lot. It's a lot because I have to pack for him, for me. I'd have to bring my computer. I'd have to work. Like it'd just be difficult, you know? And so, yeah, I kind of shy away from last minute things because that's hard. If I had known like a couple weeks out, I could have maybe gotten it done and figured it out, you know?
No, I absolutely agree. Full responsibility I take. Talking like Yoda.
You got to go and have fun though. Fran FaceTimes us, by the way. I've gone to a NASCAR race. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been fortunate enough to go to MotoGP or Formula One, and Formula One's still on my list. I think hopefully we're going to go in the fall, but to the one in Austin, because I know they're like everywhere all the time. I've watched them on TV. I think it's one of those things, right? You FaceTimed my mom and Remy and I, we were at the zoo. And so I got down and held it in front of Remy to see if he could kind of see the motorcycles. So Fran had like all access. So he's down on that track and he's getting to watch that warm-up lap. And then when they actually take off, I've never gotten to see a motorcycle race like that. I've actually never even watched one on TV. Y'all, I was shocked, which, I mean, if you've seen it, you know, and then when they come by on that first lap, I mean, you can't almost even see them. They're going so fast. So I asked Fran how fast they were going, and you said they're going what?
Like 230, 240, something like that.
On a motorcycle. I mean, those guys are missing some brain cells, right? There has to be something off to want to do that for a living.
It's crazy. Like, first of all, the feeling on your chest when they take off, you just feel that like someone is punching you in the face. Like, well, not punching you, but like...
You mean that's how they feel?
No. You, like really? Me on the side.
Why?
Like you, because all the power, all the noise, it's just...
you feel it?
You feel all of it. It feels amazing. But it is just wild. These kids have some huge balls.
Yeah.
And...
well, there's a lot of deaths in these races, right? When they crash sometimes.
Well... I don't think the death ratio is as big as other sports that are dangerous. I think horse racing is still one of the top most dangerous sports. And but that's ChatGPT away from knowing what it is. But
104 riders total have died from MotoGP racing events.
How many years has it been?
That's since 1949.
Oh, okay.
So,
we have a good number there.
I mean, that's 2 a year, more than 1 a year.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was a little less safe back in the day, but these kids are
that's a lot to me.
A different level. And so there's MotoGP is the main event, and then it's Moto2, which is all teenage kids. And all teenage kids, smaller bike. And when I said a smaller bike, it's not like it's not a small bike. It's a 600cc that goes also like 200 miles per hour. And they have no tech. MotoGP has all the tech. These guys are raw.
Yeah.
And kids that like this big, that they look like they just came out of middle school.
Are they 12? I mean, how old are they?
No. They're like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And they're going like, that was, I think MotoGP was a really, really good race. Moto2 was adrenaline because they were like nose to nose. So it was amazing. A great experience, great friends.
You know a lot about motorcycle racing. I mean, and I know you don't keep up with like the season, like with the, you know, what do we call them? The drivers. Mm-hmm. But I think I've asked you before, like when you're in Formula One, like I've been to NASCAR before, right? I've watched some of these races with you. I'm assuming that MotoGP is similar to how Formula One is. Like they start on a certain kind of bike, knowing that that's ultimately where they want to be. Like are they doing dirt bike racing? Is dirt bike like also where they're going over the humps?
Which dirt bike?
No, I'm just asking, like, do drivers switch? What do you mean which dirt bike?
No.
Dirt bike racing.
I don't know much about dirt bike racing.
But I'm saying like MotoGP guys, they start from a young age wanting just on these kinds of motorcycles.
100%. So
same with how Formula One is. Like they start driving those kinds of cars. They don't go from like NASCAR
in like a little
kind of cars to
like Remy is literally a year and a half away from being able to jump in a motorcycle and start going around a circuit. And you start them very young. They could come from motocross for sure, but the background has to be with the family. Like your dad has to love it, and he has to bring that to you. Like Mike Marquez and his brother, which Mike is one of the biggest champions. His brother is also a champion, which he fall in the first turn on Sunday. But
is it as expensive? It's not as expensive as Formula One.
It's not as expensive as Formula One.
Yeah, that's all crazy to me. How expensive
the motorcycles? I don't have an exact number, but the motorcycles are not cheap by any means. But we're not like there's no team that is $1 billion or near to $1 billion.
I love learning about other sports. You know, I went to the final regular season Stars hockey game the other night because one of the girls that I hired is the captain of the ice girls. And so Danny and I went the other night and had a little like girls' night out. Well, the girls' night out, which was really just dinner. We went to a place. If you live in the DFW area, we went to a place called, not a sponsor, but I just hadn't been. And it's right by where my office is. What is it called?
It's called
El Carlos Elegante. It was so good and fun. So I recommend that, actually. I want to go again. I think Fran would like it. We just were in Babyland for a while when it opened, so we hadn't been, but we really liked it. Then we went down to the game. But it's just so funny. I mean, people are amped like about the Stars. And I just realized that I have not been to like a crowded concert or sporting event, I don't think, since I've had Remy. And Danny and I kind of looked at each other. I mean, I've been out, I've done things, but I hadn't been to something with that like level of energy, you know, and I can't even imagine the playoff games, but it's just been a minute. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so fun. Like I forget how fun any kind of sporting event is really, you know, where people are gathered together to watch people compete. It's just fun. You know, I kind of miss doing that. I used to do it so much more.
People watching in moto and Formula One is amazing. Formula One it's a different crowd. It's still a racing crowd, but moto, as Formula One, it has people that follows them around the world.
Like NASCAR.
But it's just an edgier crowd. It's just like a cool, really edgy crowd. It's so amazing to see these people that go from every part of the world, following from Spain to Canada to the Middle East here. I think they were going to Brazil next. I'm not all that sure. I'm just for Formula One. I'm a Austin, Mexico, and maybe Miami guy.
Well, that for sounds GP, fancy. I'm like
it's only Austin.
Maybe I'll go sometime in my life. We'll see. Be fun and put the little noise canceling headphones on.
I got him some.
You did?
Yeah, some earmuffs.
Yeah, aren't they like noise canceling that little babies wear to concerts and stuff?
Well, these are like noise canceling sounds really fancy. It's just like earmuffs from
earmuffs aren't gonna work like that you wear in the winter.
No. Like the ones that you wear for like if you go shooting.
Oh, great! I'm sure he's gonna love those. Like he loves hats and shoes and refuses to wear them. I hope that changes at some point.
Yeah, he will have fun in those type of events and.
Well, enough. Motorcycle racing. We're going to take a quick break and hear from a couple of sponsors of the Fitish podcast. Francisco and I have been making efforts in our own ways, different ways, to be healthier because I think we realized, you know, we don't have the time. You know, it's hard to cook meals all the time, but we both want to get healthier in our own ways. And we've been loving Mosh, whether you're at the gym, on the go like we tend to be, or just between meals, which I feel like I'm always in between meals and looking for something quick and easy. Mosh protein bars are the smart snack to keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. You need to try Mosh. They have 6 delicious flavors. Each Mosh bar includes 12 grams of protein and is made with all sorts of great ingredients that support brain health like ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, and omega-3s. And they're just 160 calories and 1 gram of sugar. That's what you need to pay attention to, by the way, whenever you're eating, right? Like you want to pay attention to the sugar content. 160 calories and 1 gram of sugar. This was actually founded by Maria Shriver and Patrick Schwarzenegger, which I didn't know that, but Mosh is a mission-driven brain health and wellness company that donates a portion of all proceeds to support women's brain research through the Women's Alzheimer's Movement at Cleveland Clinic. Just try it out. You're going to love it. Throw it in your bag. You're ready to go. Try Mosh today and use Fitish to save 20% at moshlife.com/Fitish. That's MOSHLIFE.com/Fitish.
I love something that is just so easy to put in your mouth and just go. You know, like eat. You don't have to make a meal or order something.
No, yeah. Protein bars aren't safe around you.
I'm sorry?
Protein bars aren't safe around you.
No. I'm a killer of protein bars.
You know, it's no secret that Fran and I deal with our share of relationship problems. I mean, as I'm sure a lot of you do. And BetterHelp is a sponsor of the Fitish podcast. And it's something that Francisco and I have both utilized over the years, whether it's independently, just to kind of treat our own, you know, mental health needs, or recently we've started discussing doing, you know, refreshing our couples counseling, right? And BetterHelp is just such a wonderful service, you know, primarily because you can do it from anywhere, right? So like Fran could be remote. I could be remote. We don't even have to be together. We can get on our computer, don't have to turn the camera on. You know, if you've been struggling and having a hard time, I think the hardest part is, you know, finding a therapist, right? Actually making the effort to get out of the house or get out of your routine and go sit down in someone's office and be vulnerable. And BetterHelp, you know, eliminates that part, that step, which kind of gives you one less excuse to not seek help when needed.
You know, I've been recommending BetterHelp to my closest circle of friends and people. And I think I'm going to start paying for my team to have it, because it's good to have personal coaching, like have someone to talk about your problems.
That's the thing. And I'm glad you brought that up, Fran, because a lot of people say, you know, therapy is like, oh, I'm feeling very depressed or I'm about to get a divorce. And it's not always about that, right? Sometimes it is just about having like kind of like a success coach, or you're needing some guidance when it comes to work and life decisions and that sort of thing. I mean, we can all use that no matter how mentally fit you feel at any given moment. But we're huge fans of BetterHelp. Again, something I forgot to mention, but I'm going to tell you, it's more affordable than most all other in-person therapies that you would try and book for yourself. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You could switch therapists at any time at no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Fitish today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/Fitish. Well, we posted a Q&A, and I know sometimes Fran and I get so busy talking. We already addressed, we're going to do a live, and I got some great questions. We're also going to do a kind of business. We may need to break it up. I can do one week. You can do one, because I don't know if it's the same. Maybe you can make your presentation.
I think that's a good banter. I think that's like, because your experience and my experience are completely different in many ways. And I think they complement. It's a story that complements each other. Like, it's a story that could hit several boxes instead of one.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Well, then let's get that on the books, and we'll do that here coming up, maybe even next week. Unless we always like to tell you our life drama if something happens or there's something going on, because I do find that to be interesting. But if y'all are really interested in a podcast where we just kind of talk about some business tips, more than happy to do it. So give us your feedback on that. And I want to say, before I jump into the Q&A, I logged into the HyattSuperfuture.com email account that I gave out last week or the week before. I've given it out a couple times on the show. Y'all, I was almost brought to tears by how many of you emailed. I mean, I had hundreds of emails in that inbox. So please know, we're going to get to all of them. We can't afford to send out testers to the hundreds of you, but I'm going to find a way to reward y'all in some way with some sort of discount or something when it launches, and obviously put you on some VIP list. So like, you're always going to be notified when we have other samples of Super Future to treat y'all to. testing flavors, that sort of thing. So please don't worry. I'm going to acknowledge it. But I was actually really taken aback. I thought I'd have like a dozen and I'd choose 5 people, which I still plan on doing. But I just wanted to acknowledge y'all because that's so fucking cool.
That's amazing.
That you're willing to try. And if you're not signed up for that newsletter, I'm telling you and you only, that is the place and the only place you're about to be notified when this launches. So for everyone that signed up for that newsletter, we're doing things a little bit differently. And I think you're going to get excited about it very, very soon. Very soon. So that's my hint there. But, and I can't wait for your feedback. I think I love having this community in general because I've always found that those of you that actually listen to this podcast and it's important for me to say this because what I found over the years is like, this group is so in tune with like you and I, and they obviously listen because they like us or relate to us, but it's really nice to get kind of like good constructive feedback, because y'all aren't mean usually. Like it's just constructive feedback, things you like, things you don't like, your opinions on us. And I always really like that, especially starting a business, because in starting a new business, and I'm doing it with other people, can be really difficult to know what people like. And I just have found that this kind of close community, they give such good feedback, usually positive, but it's more objective, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's more objective sometimes than friends and family can be. Like, I just think.
Yeah, because it's unbiased. They don't weigh. Yeah, right. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I really appreciate it. And I'll make sure y'all are taken care of in some way or another, but it's just kind of spiraled trying to get something going. But that being said, thank you. And let's get to some of your questions. Let's see. Did Fran get Olympia?
What?
Olympia.
Let me see the question.
Limpia.
Olympia. Oh, Olympia. No, but if you know of someone that could give me Olympia, I'll be more than happy to try it because at this point, I think that's the only solution.
A spiritual cleanse or limpia is a Mexican healing ceremony performed on those who want to revive their energy. I said a spiritual cleanse after being exposed to negative energy. A cleaning. Yeah, that would be nice, Fran. You should check that out.
Yeah.
So I guess that's something, if you know of someone, Lizzie, and you want to send them Fran's way, that would be great. Robin is asking us if we have any fun summer vacation plans in the works. Well, Fran has something for us.
We do, yes.
Not really summer, but.
We have like a late spring vacation plan.
I don't know where we're going.
We're going to go to a beautiful beach location with our little middle, and I'm very excited. We're gonna go for Jenna's birthday.
I'm so excited. Yeah, friends like
/ Mom's Day.
Yeah, I know. You got the double whammy. It's so close back to back. So it is what it is. The Mother's Day birthday combo. My mom always had that too, because my mom's birthday is Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, my birthday's May 9th. So we're going to go out of town sometime around there for a few days. So I'm looking forward to that. But Fran and I really, this, if you want to know the truth of what we like talk about when it comes to vacation, we love going to Mexico because it's easy. We're in a place right now, I think, and we were just talking about it last night. Fran has a friend that's going to Mexico, super nice house, invited us to go. We really want to go, but it's kind of like it's not a baby trip. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like kind of a party friends trip. And Fran and I, it's weird, right? And it's weird to explain to people how you feel, but we just don't want to go somewhere and not take Remy right now. We're not ready yet, I mean, we've done our work trips for a day or two alone here and there, but Fran and I haven't done like a vacation together without him. And I think that people can give us feedback. Like people say at some point that's fun and you can handle it and you're ready, but we're just not in a place where we haven't left him overnight without one of us yet. And we just kind of want to enjoy vacation with him right now because we haven't even gone on many vacations with him.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's hard to understand. And he has older kids. His kids are about to finish college. One is already.
Forget.
So you forget. And before Remy, I would have said how ridiculous you are, Francisco, because he's like, you can find someone to take care of him. It's like, no, you don't understand. If you're not just going to leave your kid with a stranger that you just met on fucking Craigslist.
Well, I think he's saying like,
yes, I know what he means.
My mom, she's not really a Craigslist stranger, but that's also a lot to put on anyone to watch your child for a whole week, all day, every day. You know, it doesn't matter. I just think like, I don't know. I just feel differently because I know what you mean, but it's a nice house on the beach. And what does it matter? Like, I even said to you, like, if it's your friend and they're going to go out and party and you wanted to do that, I could stay with Remy. You know, if it was one of my closest friends that had just had a baby but wanted to come, I'd be fine with it. Bring the baby. You have your own room. You're going to do stuff with the baby. But I mean, I don't know if he's planning on having like hookers over or what's happening there to make it like so not child friendly.
Well, the reason he said you don't want to bring your baby because you want him to stay innocent for a little longer.
Oh, yeah. Drugs and hookers everywhere. Whatever. I don't know. All right. So anyway, yeah, Fran and I, what we talk about right now is just really, I'm actually just really looking forward to, this is going to be our first kind of three of us vacation. We've been to Mexico, had the family help. This is going to be kind of our first just solo, me, you, and Remy going to the beach. And I'm so looking forward to it because he's so alert and I think he's going to actually enjoy it. He hasn't been to the beach since we went last summer. So we also bought this house, y'all, you know, and I think everyone can remember, you know, when you buy a house, things get tighter and Fran and I are both still kind of working on building our businesses. And I also don't care that much, you know, like I like to be here. I like to nest. And I think maybe next summer we talked about hopefully doing our Europe exploration on where we want to move one day, because that's something we still talk about quite a bit, especially with schools kind of being, you know, everything that's gone on here, and it scares the shit out of us. So yeah, we might go toy around with the Spain, Portugal idea, but you got to have some money to go travel for a week or two.
So we're working really hard for that.
We're working hard on that. But for now, we'll probably there's so many places in Mexico, y'all. Like, it's so wonderful to go over there. So, you know, we highly recommend that. If y'all ever need any ideas on where to go for like a quick weekend getaway, let us know. Let's see. So we have a couple pop-ups. A lot of questions are about Fitish pop-ups. Y'all be signed up for the Eventbrite page because you'll be notified first when we post something there. We actually have a pop-up this coming weekend with Raven that I think sold out. We're going to be posting soon. Another pop-up, a floral arranging class for Mother's Day that's going to be the following weekend. So make sure you're kind of on there. And I know about, San Antonio and some of these other spots y'all want us to come. Fort Worth. We're working on it. It's just that we're very lean and it's hard for us to travel because it costs money. So San Antonio is something we've been wanting to do. I just don't really have anyone helping me plan events. And I think the logistics of that can be really difficult, to get out of town and do. But I've really wanted to do kind of a San Antonio, Austin. We could hop around Texas and see y'all. So if anyone lives in any other market and wants to be a Fitish ambassador and kind of help us put something on, I'm really open to that. So just shoot us an email. Email me, Jenna@fitish.com, and let me know. I like this question though, as far as it goes to baby life. How do you keep your sanity between work and raising a baby? I'll let you answer, Fran.
So meditation, 5 minutes every 10 will help if you have the time.
5 minutes every 10?
Every 10 minutes. So, no, we don't keep our sanity. We lose our shit pretty often, and we try to keep it together as much as we can. BetterHelp has helped, but it's just trying to balance and trying to put a pause at times and make sure that you're being self-aware and that you're not overwhelming yourself with stuff that doesn't worth it at the time.
Something that's helped me, and I want to be very honest with y'all, I only recently, Remy is 14 months old today, and I only recently, maybe around that 11-month mark, felt like, okay, this is pretty great, and I got it. I mean, it really, and there were moments that I felt that way, right? Don't get me wrong. I definitely had moments where, that's where Fran and I kind of differed, and for a while, because every moment Fran's like, this is amazing. And for me, I didn't feel that way, I mean, I'm so happy and I love him, but, I struggled a little bit more because I realized that Jenna before baby is like never coming back, and I'm new and different and maybe better in some ways. And the things that I don't get to do anymore, it doesn't really, like, for instance, like going to a sporting event, kind of just, I have a busy week this week too. You know, I had to communicate with Fran. I have something every single night, and not every week is like that for me by any means, but it gets a little overwhelming. And I don't know, I guess I just realized that if I can carve out moments, right? And Fran works really well with me usually on this sort of thing. I'm like, I just need like an hour. You know, I don't need days. I don't need to leave him and go out of town. Sometimes every now and then I'll call my mom and just be like, can you come over? Because like, I have got to clean my closet. My closet, like never, I mean, it's a cave and I never have time to do it. And those little things, you know, I used to do that a little more frequently. It'd make me feel better, but you don't have time to do some things like that. Right. And I think that's what starts to, especially as a mom, feel very overwhelming when the house is just in disarray, but you also, he's so demanding of your time. You don't have time to actually finish cleaning ever. And it's really helped me to carve out, like, I just need an hour. Like, I want to once a month, I want to go get a pedicure, or I want to go on a run around the neighborhood for 30 minutes. Or, you know, I just start carving out little bits of time when I'm feeling really suffocated and I feel so much better, you know, and I think that's really helped me is just sometimes you let it slip and you don't give yourself enough attention. And I've gotten a little bit better at not feeling guilty for an hour here and there because that guilt haunted me for so long when I would leave him and go to work or when I would leave and like go to the mall, which I didn't even do that much, but I felt so fucking guilty for doing something selfish, you know, that I wanted to do for me, or I felt guilty that I felt like I don't have him right now. And I don't feel that way anymore because I've realized, and so many of y'all have told me, it makes you a better parent when you're different. You leave and go to work all day, every day. And I'm here a lot. And I still feel so guilty when I leave, you know, even if I'm not taking care of him, because we have someone here like right now, for instance, and we're at home, but I still feel so guilty, you know, and, it took a long time for me to go, this isn't okay. And you can carve out a couple hours and go get some stuff done and feel refreshed and rejuvenated. And anyway, so that's helped me just having an hour here and there. So if you're ever able to have a friend or a family member just help you so you can do something that's been bothering you.
Make some room to not crowd yourself.
Yeah, because then it starts to get suffocating, right? If all you're doing is momming and working. Can we get a house tour? Done safely. Penelope, done safely. It's not that I'm not giving a house tour because I don't want to share my house. I think it's that y'all see what
it's not there yet.
It's not there yet. I'm more than happy to like show y'all because the house is super cute.
I'm going to do an episode of Craves for you.
It's just that this house is still not decorated. I think I was so overwhelmed, you know, when we moved and we finally kind of finished unpacking all the boxes, putting stuff in the attic and storage, that sort of thing, which is great. And it's just not done yet. I mean, it's so fucking expensive, right, y'all? Like it's so expensive that I thought, you know, we got a house, even getting a house that you can somewhat afford, things still get so expensive. And so it's just more responsibility and I need to get Remy's. It's not even a nursery anymore. It's a little boy room. I haven't even finished it. How awful is that? I'm doing that.
Well, the thing is, we are moving as fast as he's moving, and he grows and grows and grows, and we're just adapting.
That's one thing about all those women that get that nursery done before they have the baby. It's actually really smart, and we weren't in a position to do that because we knew we were going to move. So I didn't want to decorate that bedroom in our townhome because I knew we were going to get out of there. So yeah, so now he has a small prison cell. It's a well-lit prison cell. No, it's nice. I just don't have any art on the wall or anything like that. So I got some really cool art done. I can't wait to show y'all for him.
Oh, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people, by the way, have been writing me about trying to give them first birthday party ideas. So I'm here for it. I just gave out a great first birthday for someone. She has a little girl with a floral name and wanted something. And so I thought her idea was great. And so I contributed a few more ideas, you know, around the name and the floral theme and something kind of like whimsical. But I came up with one that she's not using, my favorite one. She liked another one that I didn't even think was as clever, but it dawned on me and I really liked it. But it only works if you have a 1-year-old. And I did her daughter's name, like insert daughter's name. I just don't want to give too much away. Wonderland, but ONE Wonderland, and like make it like an Alice in Wonderland, like Mad Hatter Tea Party theme. I thought that was clever. Wonderland spelled with one. So there's another idea.
That's amazing.
A bunch of people wrote me after we had Remy's and was like, I need help. Babe, but it's hard, isn't it?
You're so clever.
It's hard to come up with birthday party themes like that for sure. So yeah, y'all can use.
You're so creative like that.
Remy's.
I like that.
Remy's first tour is what we did with the concert tour and the merch. But I thought about doing Remy's first trip and doing like kind of tripping and having like mushroom theme and stuff. But I thought that was like pretty druggy and might come across as a little bit weird. But I thought that could be really cute too. You know, making it like his first trip. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here for it if y'all need any more. A little bit of a serious question that I'd like to address, but someone wrote us and said, I'm going to be 40 next month and I'm so depressed. I don't have any kids. I'm single and I have a disappointing career. And I'm sure that feels really suffocating. I get it. I was 35 and feeling that way. I mean, in terms of career, I had a different job situation and, was feeling more unfulfilled and wanted to get my business going. But I just think there's something about age as you start getting older and feel that you're not in a good place. BetterHelp would be a great place to start, first of all, because I think when you start listing off things, how you're doing, I remember when you feel sad about one thing, if you're single or you've had a heartbreak, it sometimes feels like things get piled on. You're like, I'm not where I want to be financially. I'm not where I want to be in my life. I'm so far now from having kids because I'm single. And you start feeling like you can't breathe. And I know that, that can make you start to feel really depressed. And so, I hate that that's how you're feeling right now. I just want to say, like, I feel that if you start putting changing a couple things about your situation, that things can change very quickly. You can go from being single, not feeling great about where you're at. You could either, change jobs, meet someone. And I don't want to put all the stock in meeting a partner because that's not, the end all be all, but so much could change in a year, if you just start putting a couple healthier things into play or just make some big changes in your life that are difficult. But there was a time where, I don't know if you've ever gone through something like this, Fran, but there was a time where I kept I thought I was okay. Like I thought I felt good, but I was like attracting bad people. Like I had like multiple, not even long-term relationships, but I would like go on a couple of dates with like people and realize they were like really kind of garbage human beings. And I'm like, why am I attracting this type of person? Like I used to attract more like high quality people, I thought, so I had a couple of things like that happened. Lost a friend that kind of blindsided me. And it was so strange. Like someone just didn't talk to me again. And I'm like, what's going on? I ended up going to therapy over it. Cause I'm like, am I the problem? Like, am I doing something? And she's just like, no, sometimes, it depends on the energy you're putting out, but you should just kind of change, recognize you're attracting this bad person and kind of change some of the things that you're doing. So anyway, I made some changes in general, kind of locked it down and got a little more guarded. But, sometimes it's just tweaking a few things in your life and kind of gravitating towards other things, exploring other things you're passionate about, picking up a hobby and doing things to build your own self-confidence, and that can really go a long way. So that would be my advice, I guess, just step by step, trying to make some changes.
Just consistent little changes, but they have to be like for the smallest thing, but it has to be tangible. Like it can't like, hey, I'm going to stop this vice that is actually not make me feel great, like smoking or like eating certain foods or like going to certain places that at the end doesn't make you fulfilled. But you cannot stop those little things gradually. You have to stop cold turkey. Yeah. And then cold turkey, and then cold turkey, and then you will start seeing tangible changes in your life.
I like that you said that because sometimes it's truly about changing, your day-to-day habits. Like you go to the same grocery stores, you go to the same places all the time. And if it's just not working for you, even if you like it and it makes your life more difficult, just switch, right? Like join a fitness studio or somewhere different. You never know. You start meeting different people and like, life is just kind of this, like, it becomes this kind of spiral of events. And yeah, there's a way that you can kind of interrupt that and change it.
Get used to doing something little that it's good for you, that makes you uncomfortable, but do it consistently. It doesn't matter how small it is. Don't try to do it huge. But once you feel that you can accomplish that, once you feel that you are in control of yourself, just to do that thing, you're gonna start doing little things. Like you will start making a bigger change. Don't go big. Try to eat the whole world, because then you're gonna be disappointed and you're gonna reverse back into where you were. Feel in control of your life. Grab control of your life. I think that's very important.
Yeah. Someone asked us about dealing with anxiety. I know we talked about sanity, but then there was another question on there. Our last question today, we'll wrap up, but how we deal with anxiety as parents. What do you feel? I mean, I know I can tell you how I feel for sure, but like, do you feel personally, Francisco, a heightened level of anxiety now that you're a parent?
I don't feel a high certain of what I feel is I worry. I'm more of a worrier. I don't feel like anxiety.
Well, that's anxiety.
Yeah, well, so I worried about him in a constant basis. It's not something debilitating, or I think that's part of being ADD also.
Yeah, that's a whole story for another day. That's something we've been talking about a lot lately, is like I've recognized like just how severe your ADD is. That it's taken me a long time to kind of realize why certain things are away. And, we're saying it's really your level of ADD, which I see for sure. But yes, I am highly aware of how anxious becoming a mom has been. And I think that's the burden of parenthood that no one talks about, is that you feel such a great love that it's terrifying, right? It's actually like feels unfair and is very overwhelming. And I think in a way, Super Futured might help you with that. It's helped me. So, there's a hint on that. Well, it's been really nice, and that was kind of a reason behind that, is I've been really looking for more natural ways to kind of deal with those sorts of feelings. But yeah, regardless though, I'm always like a proponent of medicine in general too, depending on how high. I mean, I have lots of mother friends that had to kind of get a Xanax prescription, because their anxiety was even before baby was so high and they worried constantly about everything. But I'll say that it's almost like you just have to trust a little bit, like, which is very hard for me because I'm not a trusting person. Like, trust that, what, millions of people have had children, and, you got, you're hands-on, you're teaching them to be as great as you can be, as they can be, and you surround them with people that you can trust them in their presence. And, all of that's hard. I think it's a day by day thing. Some days I do better than others, but there's almost not a moment that goes by, even when I drive to work and I'm happy to have a couple days in the office, I still feel kind of terrified about him. I constantly check the cameras, so I mean, I can give you tangible things that help, like we have these Wyze cameras around the house, WYZE. I know a lot of people like the Nanit camera over the crib, but we have these Wyze. These Wyze cameras are like $35 a piece. You can get a pair of them for, they're like discounted on Amazon when you buy them by the pair. And we have them all over the house. So at any given moment, I can log in, and we've really liked them. It's really nice just to see him and what he's doing.
Really easy to set up and everything.
That's helped me a lot. I mean, I know if your child's in daycare, that's, you usually can have access to a camera. But in general, yeah, Fran and I, our anxieties are different. Mine, which I hate to say aloud, Fran's much more in the day-to-day worry, right? Like when he's exploring, now he's getting more rough. He's figuring out, he can go down the stairs with his hands first instead of his feet. And, he's going to be a rough and tumble boy. He loves to be outside. So Fran's definitely like, you've loosened up a bit now that you're seeing how much more confident he's getting.
And also because he's sturdier, like he's a chunky.
He's sturdier. Yeah. But you're more in the day-to-day concerns about little things with him. And I felt more, which it's interesting, how parents are, but I feel this like debilitating anxiety sometimes over the unknown, right? Like these stories you read about, and I'm so sorry if this has happened to any of y'all, but you just take your 2-year-old to the doctor for a checkup and they have this like tumor, and then and those are the things I think, I'm sure maybe all of us as moms think about that sort of thing. And we just hope that that's not the card that we get dealt. And there's really nothing that you can do about that. I don't feel as concerned in the day-to-day moment about letting him kind of if he trips and falls, it's like, yeah, I think he's going to be okay. But like it's going to happen.
A very like the day to day. I worried, of course, about what you're saying, but I have a little bit. I have to admit, I have a little bit of anxiety for when he grows, like to be a teenage kid.
And his driving. Oh my gosh, how did y'all deal with that? I get it now.
Or that he goes somewhere that you are not around.
I know, with his friends. School, like when he goes to school.
Like
Fran and I, y'all are going to think we're crazy, but Fran and I, every day when we see another school shooting and another something or other, Fran and I, literally, he will come home. We don't even have to exchange any words about what happened. And he's like, we got to get out of here. And I'm like, we got to get out of here. And I used to think I could never live on an island. And I know that nowhere is safe, y'all. I understand that. You don't have to lecture me on it. Like, I get that nowhere's safe. But yes, a lot of other countries are safer.
It's not only
than here right now.
School shootings, like the bullying, the bullying. Like, I cannot even imagine like having my kid dealing with bullying. I just.
Oh my gosh, we're not making her anxiety any better. And I have had all these conversations recently. We're supposed to be helping our listeners.
I'm just going to tell you one thing. It's an inherent part of being a parent.
We're all the same, right? So I think I have felt better being home more. Honestly, that makes me feel good spending more time. And it used to kind of drive me crazy that I was home all the time. And I realized I like my hybrid situation. But I don't know. I think that running a little bit helps with anxiety for me, even though I hate to run. And I've started doing that a little bit more, mainly to lose the baby weight, but also to help with the anxiety. Because I think just exercising a bit really can clear your head, going on a walk, doing that sort of thing. So there's some tangible things you can do to alleviate that anxiety. But, I do want to say it's interesting. I don't know if I think I was trying to tell you this the other night. I don't know if you remember. I've randomly had a lot of interactions lately with teachers, and I've always recognized teachers are just like, teachers should be paid like celebrities. They're so underpaid. They have such a insane, inappropriate level of responsibility for these children, like parenting them all day, but you can't really parent them. And I have encountered so many teachers lately that I've really had long conversations with, and it's been really eye-opening, really disheartening. So many teachers don't want to teach anymore. School shootings, not just that, like what you just said. She said kids have gotten so mean. And this is different schools. This is good schools. This is inner city schools, whatever it is, right? It's all sorts of, it's just Dallas ISD schools that kids are, she said, one of this woman I was speaking to the other day, she teaches 7th graders in math. And she's like, I tell them all the time, y'all are so mean to each other. And we talked about why is this, is this part of me thinks, and she thinks that it's just kind of it's this cell phone, it's this world of like digital media that we have now, because, you're seeing other kids your age that have way more money, or it makes you feel bad. Why are 12 and 13-year-olds killing themselves? They're getting bullied at school. They're not telling people. Imagine the phones, if we had that growing up, and like people texting each other group, and you're left out of the group, and like it feels like the end of the world. And, and then you're seeing so much stuff on social media. She said these 7th grade girls are like meeting up with rando guys that they meet on Snapchat. And that they're all vaping, that's the thing everyone's doing. They're all buying vapes at that age, which is crazy to think of, and that's like on the low end of the spectrum, like on the mild end, we hear about what some of these 12 and 13 and 14-year-old kids are doing. And it's just so overwhelming to think that that's where, and she said on top of it, like they suck at math, like that they're not even doing good, and that it's so upsetting because they don't care. They see these other kids their age that are like TikTok stars, and they don't care.
Not only TikTok stars, I think of course they see the whole, I'm going to be influencer, I don't need math. Mm-hmm. But you have this thing called OnlyFans that has opened an option for little women, for little girls, to see, oh my God, that girl drives a Ferrari and it's in OnlyFans. Yeah. What am I doing in fucking school?
Right.
And it's just, the world that we're living in is outrageous. It's just like, and it's a profession, and I don't know if I'm wrong, but for me and for the way that I was raised, that seemed that we are going rapidly to a deep end.
Yeah. No, I agree. And we have a friend who lives in Mexico on the beach with her kids. And she had moved down there when they were babies and always said she was going to come back to America, when they started school, like when the oldest was, in kindergarten or whatever. And that is long since passed. And so when I saw her last, she's like, I can't. She goes, she goes, a lot of people talk about Mexico not being safe. And she goes, we literally like drive them to school in a golf cart. They're bilingual. They go surfing or sailing or, learning about the outdoors as, recess and after school activities. They are, doing cooking classes. They, watch movies sometimes, like we do movie night in bed, at home, but they are not attached to their phones. And then her family lives here in North Texas. So she brings them home, obviously a couple times a year, especially over the holidays. And she goes, it's like so crazy as they've gotten older to watch the differences between them and their cousins who live here that are like always playing video games or, just the kind of language and the differences, that these kids behaviorally have, that they don't even feel like they're so overwhelmed, of course, after living on the beach, that they come here and it's so overwhelming. She's like, I've really loved being there, even though sometimes for me it felt so much more remote. She's like, we cook dinner together every night. And it's just starting to make me think that's really what a wonderful thing she's done for them, because they're going to grow up differently. And all the things I used to think would be drawbacks about living on an island, which I'm sure there's a lot. Like she can't get packages mailed to herself, for instance. She doesn't have that kind of thing. There's drawbacks when you live somewhere in a smaller, kind of more remote area. But is that the biggest drawback, that you can't get an Amazon order?
It's just crazy because of course there's drawbacks, but I was hearing just a really good story. The daughter of the guy that invited me to MotoGP just went to Tulum, and everybody's been telling her, like, how do you go there? It's so unsafe.
Yeah.
Because, someone got killed trying to get their watch, which I'm pretty sure it was not the watch. It was a drug deal. But we had 12 killings in Dallas. They're dealing with a serial killer in Austin.
I saw that.
It's crazy.
It's a serial killer, right?
Yeah,
That's
no. I was in Perilous with my friends, and there's like, hey, they were telling me about the serial killer. But you're over 40, you'll be fine. I was like, no, I'm actually a target.
Is someone killing young guys?
People under 40.
Girls and guys.
Yes, and they're appearing in the
lake.
In the lake.
Oh yeah, there's so much of that goes on.
So it's just like, yes, like this guy was targeted. Let's say that he wasn't a part of the drug cartels.
That does
he had a Rolex.
The headlines
where he shouldn't be wearing a Rolex.
The cartel's shooting. There's part of a cartel that's like looking for people with Rolexes on. And I'm always like, Fran, you always wear yours. Are you wearing that in Mexico? Fran and I tend to not. Like, I don't wear my nice jewelry in Mexico, mainly just because I don't really like to travel with any of my nice jewelry. So I don't want to lose it and leave it or, be a target. But Fran's like, you read more into the story and it's like, this guy's like related to someone in that cartel. So, the headline
had a gun.
Yeah, the headline makes it like, but it's like a shootout at Starbucks in Playa. And it really scares everyone away. Just so y'all know, I still feel very comfortable going to Mexico because, look at what goes on here as well. So it's just different. But she was saying, back to what you were saying, that she lives with her family there?
So no, so she just went for the weekend.
Oh.
They're a very affluent family in Austin, and everybody's like, you're stupid. Like, how do you do that? It's like, I felt safer walking in Tulum, just chilling there, than I feel walking at night in certain places in Texas.
Yeah, it's a different kind of violence there.
Absolutely.
For sure. Everywhere's, there's a lot of unsafe places, but it's a trade-off. Yeah.
Well, you at least you're gonna die in the Caribbean, much rather than dying in riverfront.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. So sorry if we just scared you all. We did not make this one woman's anxiety about being a mother any better, by the way. I just hope that, there are some things that you can do, but enough on that. We've been all over the place today.
If we haven't helped, call your family physician.
Yeah, no, call BetterHelp. Yeah, and be like, I can't listen to the podcast anymore.
Yeah.
But hey, we struggle with it too. So I guess it's just learning how to deal with the constant changing of feelings and anxiety, right? Some days are better than others, but let's work on building our business podcast. Make sure you're signed up for Super Featured emails. And the Fitish pop-ups are coming up as well. Any other questions, you can always email me, Jenna@fitish.com, DM us, email Francisco, message him. But yeah, let's plan a live for everyone, a Cinco de Mayo. We've wanted to do a live podcast as well. So we'll talk to our producer about it and see what would make sense, like for y'all to come out, and we could maybe do a live podcast on a Saturday as a pop-up or something. If that's something y'all would be interested in, that could be fun. But we'll look into it and figure out the logistics and let you know.
Yeah. Sounds good. You guys have a wonderful week.